how to set up and access an external drive with BitLocker drive encryption. You will need to know this while performing your tasks of reimaging devices. But wait, before we get to it, please take a trip with me through time to discover how encryption came to be as it is today. We will delve into the history and the art of encryption or cryptography, which started in Egypt around 2000 BC and on through time by the Greek, Spartans, Babylonians, Pataliputra, and Indians. 9th century AD, near Baghdad, Iraq, the work of Al-Kindi, considered one of the fathers of cryptography and a famous scientist who worked on cryptanalysis and, more specifically, on frequency analysis. This time capsule has traveled 2,000 years into the past, and we just landed in the ancient Egyptian town of Menat Khufu, in the tomb of the nobleman Khnumhotep II. Let's find out the great mysteries and secrets of ancient Egypt. We will debark right here. Encryption started during the pre-dynastic period, when Egypt was divided into separate kingdoms. One such kingdom was reigned by the great and mighty pharaoh Linxmahes I and his sister Ebnetek. He was a fierce warrior who won many battles. Enemies fear him so much that they would lie their weapons down and run away in horror. His sister was a mathematical genius and medical marvel. The once faithful nobleman Tyler Lankaman has left the Gulf-Tecan kingdom to serve a higher position with a lesser kingdom. The kingdom noble leaders were Suopatra, San-Nefer-Hetep, and Joseph-Hotep. The noblewoman, San-Nefer-Hetep, is leaving to marry a pharaoh in another large kingdom to bring peace and stability between the two kingdoms. Other great noblemen were Adamite, Evanare, and Vandratehudi. They were in charge of the economy, and there was never a government shutdown. Additional noblemen were Skotantef and Patrick Nakhep. They were in charge of education of all the citizens. Followed by statesmen Justin of Arionc and Duprison Befti. They were in charge of transportation and development of weapons and warcraft. Nephew to the pharaoh and secretary of defense, John Sinbi-Neferhat-Neter. He invented the war chariot. He was the kingdom's champion horseback and camel jockey rider. He was the right-hand man and advisor to his uncle Pharaoh Linxmahes. Hey Jenny, will you take over now?
Sure. Thanks. The Egyptians developed mathematical methods for multiplication and fractions that are directly analogous to modern binary arithmetic, long before the invention of the electronic computer. While ancient Egyptians used a decimal, base 10, system for writing numbers, they used a method of repeated doubling and halving for multiplication that functions like binary arithmetic. However, the statement that Egyptians built the first computer is incorrect. The ancient Egyptians lacked the necessary concepts and technology for building a computer, even with their understanding of binary-like mathematics. Key missing elements included positional notation, the concept of zero, programmable instructions, and last but not least advanced technology. Climb aboard the capsule again, let's head to Greece. Here we are. Ancient Greece began using a form of encryption around the 7th century BC with the invention of the skytale. One of the first recorded examples dates to as early as 400 BC. The skittle, used by the Spartans. The skittle was a wooden batten around which a strip of parchment or leather was wrapped. A message was written lengthwise along the strip. When unwrapped, the letters were scrambled and unreadable. The recipient could only decipher the message by wrapping the strip around a batten of the exact same diameter. Here we are at our next stop. Some clay tablets from Mesopotamia somewhat later are clearly meant to protect information, one dated near 1500 BC. Next stop, India. The Kama Sutra, estimated to have been composed in India between 400 BC to 300 AD, lists 64 arts recommended for a better quality of life, including a reference to Mleketa Vikalpa, the art of understanding writing in cipher, and the writing of words in a peculiar way. Now let's head back to our time. Cryptography was used by different people in different regions of the world. It would take a very long time to mention them all. Encryption in modern times is achieved by using algorithms that have a key to encrypt and decrypt information. These keys convert the messages and data into digital gibberish through encryption and then return them to the original form through decryption. In general, the longer the key is, the more difficult it is to crack the code. So let us now go back to modern day and get on with our simple lesson.